Bible, to Brother Uche, to the conference vice president, Nick Petty, to the conference vice president, second vice president, Nathaniel Taylor, to our recording secretary, Regina, to everybody who is somebody to the best of our family, to my Mount Zion family over there.
Amen, amen.
I bring you greetings from Mount Zion Indian Church, where my pastor is my lovely grandmother, Reverend John L. Loins. And I don't know about you, but even though it's cold, I came to worship and praise the Lord. I had a sermon written for me, and on this morning, we had to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to get to the church by 8 for our Women's Day. But even though I left it, God is still good.
Amen.
And because He is good, there is still a message on this morning. So I'm going to ask that so we could get a different atmosphere and so we could shift it. Can we please sing I Really Love the Lord? I don't know about you, but I really love the Lord. Can you join me with me by singing? I really love the Egyptians pursued them, and all Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea. During the last night of watch, the Lord looked down, and the army threw it into confusion. He jammed the wheels of their chariots so that they had difficulty driving. And the Egyptians said, "Let us get away from the Israelites. The Lord is fighting for them." And they are fighting against Egypt.
Right.
Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and their horsemen." Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak, the sea went back into its place. The Egyptians were fleeing toward it, and the Lord swept them into the sea. The water flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen, the entire army of Pharaoh, and that followed the Israelites into the sea. No one of them survived. But the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. That day, the Lord saved the Israelites from the hands of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians lying dead on the shore. From this, I want to take the time to say, to preach from the title, "Are you ready to walk?"
Amen.
All right, so.
Are you ready to walk? Father God, dip this preacher deep down one more time. Bring me up with a fresh anointing. We are ready to hear your word right on this afternoon. And so speak to your people, Lord. Touch their minds that they may receive a word. Speak to your people, Lord. Touch their hearts that they may digest the word and take it tomorrow. Speak to your people, God. And we shall forever give your name the praise, the honor, and the glory. Let all the people of God say amen. Are you ready to walk? According to Urban Dictionary, dictionary, wobble means to go through a tough time. But knowing in your heart that you will be all right. To wobble means to pray, believe and trust that I might not have it now, but I see myself getting it in the future. To wobble means to just hold on long enough until you feel your health and your strength come back so you can stay in the race. In boxing, there is a technique used to tire out the opponent. The guy will allow the person to keep taking shots at him or her because eventually the person will get tired and stop throwing punches, and they will put their fist down. When they get tired, you can now go on the offensive end and try to win the match. The wobble is in the fighter trying to hold on through the vicious beating. As long as he or she can hold on, that means that the longer I can hold on, the longer I can wobble. But the question is on this afternoon is, are you ready to wobble? I have a special friend who was sexually assaulted by a guy she called her best friend. For those of you who've ever experienced this, you know that you feel trapped and eventually begin to blame yourself. Most females under the age of 17 won't even inform an adult figure because they are scared of the repercussions and what is to come to the other person. But my friend wobbled when she got rid of her fears and she dried up her tears, and now the person who raped her now sends her letters of apology through a prison cell. Sometimes, church, you have to wobble. She had to break. She had to trust and believe that, yes, she was hurting, but the sooner she could strengthen herself in the Lord and be the time that she could start to wobble. Oh, my brothers and sisters, sometimes you have to wobble. Well, imagine growing up royalty when your family and those who are like you in your race are slaves. Moses didn't even know who he was. You remember the story all of his life. He knew himself as an Egyptian, but he was really an Israelite. One thing that we have to understand and realize about Moses is he was called by God from birth. He was chosen to lead the Israelites out of captivity into the promised land. He was placed into a basket by his biological mother and sent down into a river into Pharaoh's daughter's hands. I need some help up in here. Moses lived there for many years until he found out who he truly was. And Moses was given instruction by God to go out and tell Pharaoh, let my people go. But while approaching Pharaoh, God showed him his power by turning the staff that Moses had in his hand into a snake. But Pharaoh's sorcerers also turned this staff into a snake. But Aaron, the brother of Moses, then proceeded to swallow their sorcerer's snake, turning back into its irregular staff once he was done. Once again, God showed his power through Moses, asking Pharaoh to let his people go. And Pharaoh said no. Moses placed the staff in the water, and he turned the water into blood. God eventually sent a plague in Egypt to kill the firstborn child in every family. The Bible indicates that, yes, they were only spared from the final plague by sacrificing the lamb and walking their dogs with the lamb's blood. Pharaoh's sons ends up dying and being killed, and this allowed the Israelites to go and be free. But I can imagine Miss Pharaoh not knowing how to cook and trying even to wash the dishes on her own, saying, I can't do this, I wasn't brought up trying to do it. I had somebody do it for me, and now I'm in a strange situation. I need my help coming back, but this way of life was foreign to them. So Pharaoh sent his armies back after Moses in order to get the Israelites back and put them back into captivity. While trying to lead the people to freedom, Moses then approaches the Red Sea, and here's where the problem comes in. Pharaoh's army is on the heels of Moses, and God parts the Red Sea into two sides so that they could cross. Pharaoh and his armies went into the sea and drowned the army, allowing Moses and his people to get to the other side. Through all of this, Moses had to wobble. Come on. Moses had to wobble by trusting in God that somehow, some way, they would get to the other side of the river. But constantly going to Pharaoh, getting the same answer and same result. And when you finally get the answer you want, you're put in a situation where the people you're getting to and trying to lead to freedom are scared and don't want to move forward. Turn to your neighbor and say, keep on moving. Keep on moving. Keep on moving. Don't stop. I find it remarkable when I hear people say, I want a job, but do nothing to get the job that they want. I find it remarkable when I hear people say, I want to go back to school for higher learning, but stay home instead of being in school. You have to be brave during your wobble. When you are in the process of wobbling, you have to be focused on the goal. You can't be caught looking down. You can't be caught looking back at what's coming. But you have to have the mindset and the attitude that I see the promised land. And I'm going all the way. You have to have the attitude that if I might see it now, that I'm going to get where I want. If you want your victory, you have to stand up. You off your blessed assurance and move yourself out the way. Move your butt out the situation and keep on moving. Are you ready to wobble? You can't get caught in dysfunctional situations. I remember a pastor saying that he went to preach at a church of 1,000. And it was in the middle of August. He said it was hot.